So welcome back to the Stats Show. Let's get straight into it. One of the most interesting questions I've had asked to me this week is whether or not IMBULA's been treated unfairly and has been on the end of some quite harsh selection policy from Hughes. So what you can see here is that IMBULA has made 2/3 of his appearances so far this season against teams in the top six, which it is obviously really harsh to then judge him from that, because obviously Stoke have been awful this season against the top six, and IMBULA's appearances stats absolutely reflect that. And as you can see against teams outside the top six, the rest of the Premier League, the teams Stoke have been able to play well against, IMBULA's excelled. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard to make a case that in all 4 of those matches, he was probably the best player on the pitch. And if you maybe don't agree with that, he was certainly up there. He was essential to those wins against Watford and Burnley, and played really well in the draws against Leicester and Middlesbrough as well. Also, looking at formation-wise, IMBULA is so important to that 3-4-3 formation. In fact, we haven't won a match in that formation without IMBULA in the team, and we've only won once without IMBULA playing, when Stoke playing with the back 3, and that was that awful game against Watford. So what you actually see is that, yeah, IMBULA probably has been treated quite harshly, because he's been up against the very best and has performed just as poorly as the rest of the squad has against them. So looking ahead to the Swansea match, I'm going to try and do something a little bit different this week. We're going to try and start with the negatives to end on the positives and hopefully show what might help Stoke to a victory. So the negatives are going to come from set pieces against Swansea. They're really strong from dead ball situations. Half of their Premier League goals almost have come from set pieces this season. 9 out of 22 of their home Premier League goals. And Stoke have been pretty awful at defending set pieces. I mean, we saw it against Hull. We came undone at a set piece, and so far this season we've conceded 13 goals from dead ball situations. So it's an area that could be worrying, and it's one that hopefully Sparky has worked on with the team. But looking ahead, Stoke really should be in a good position for this match. Swansea are on a 6-game winless run. They've only drawn once in that. They've conceded 68 goals so far this season. And in Lucas Fabianski, they have a weakness that can really be exploited. He's made the most defensive errors leading to goals of anyone in the Premier League this season. He's done it 4 times. So hopefully that is an area that Hughes will have focused on, and hopefully we can exploit it this weekend. Now, one of the other things people have been talking about in this week is how this season looks compared to our other ones, and some people have said, oh, well, it's not actually been that bad. We've had much worse seasons than that. But unfortunately, the stats tell a slightly different story. So what this graph shows is the amount of points we've had at this stage in all of our seasons in the Premier League. And as you can see, we are doing really poorly at the minute. This is only our 3rd season where we've not been at 40 points at this stage in the season. And the other 2 were our first in the Premier League, where we were on the same points as we are now, 39. And Tony Pulis's last, where we were really disappointed and we're only on 34 points. So Mark Hughes really has a big task coming up against him to try and get Stoke back up the table, and it might be too hard to even get us back into the top half. So that's it for the Stats Show this week. Make sure you like, make sure you leave comments for me below, and make sure you subscribe to Bear Pit TV.